Silver surprise coming, shorts get squeezed. The market looks calm, the charts look quiet. Yet history shows this is often the most dangerous moment. Silver has a habit of moving when confidence is highest and breaking when positions feel safest. Behind the price and behind the headlines, pressure is building where most people never look. Not in emotions, not in predictions, but in margins, delivery rules, and time. When these systems tighten together, the move does not ask for permission. It happens fast, it happens suddenly, and it rarely gives second chances. What comes next is not about price targets. It is about who is forced to move first and who is left standing when the lights come back on. Welcome to AG Market Stress. This channel is built for serious viewers, for people who have seen markets cycle and understand that risk does not announce itself loudly. If someone watching is over 50 and has learned that patience matters more than excitement, then this channel was built for them. If the analysis here has value, they are invited to subscribe, not for noise, but for clarity. Viewers are also asked to comment below from which country and city they are watching, because markets are global, but stress always shows up locally. They often say the most dangerous markets are the loud ones, but experienced participants know this is not true. The most dangerous markets are the quiet ones. Silver, at this moment, appears stable. Prices move within familiar ranges, volatility looks controlled, and headlines are muted. To an untrained eye, this looks like balance. To a trained observer, this looks like compression. Markets rarely break when everyone is nervous. They break when confidence is high and risk feels manageable, and silver has entered such a phase. This metal is not only a commodity, it is also a financial instrument, an industrial input, and a leveraged trading vehicle, and that combination makes stability misleading. And when price holds steady, leverage does not disappear, it accumulates. Institutions build positions over time, risk models grow comfortable, margins feel predictable, and traders assume tomorrow will look like today. This is how fragility forms. The price becomes the headline, but the structure becomes the risk. Silver's structure is thin compared to other global markets. Its physical supply is limited. Its futures market is large relative to available metal, and its participants rely heavily on rolling contracts rather than settling them. The system works only when confidence remains intact. Periods of low volatility create a false sense of control. They convince participants that exits will always be available. They assume liquidity will be there when needed. History suggests otherwise. Before major stress events, markets often look calm, not because risk is low, but because risk is being stored. Silver has shown this pattern repeatedly. Long, quiet stretches followed by abrupt repricing. Moves that feel sudden but were prepared quietly. What makes this moment different is timing. Silver is approaching a phase where time begins to matter more than opinion. Calendar pressure increases. Contract decisions approach. And optionality starts to shrink. When time pressure rises, stability becomes fragile. Participants are no longer deciding what they believe. They're deciding what they must do. Beliefs can be flexible. Obligations cannot. As obligations increase, the illusion of stability fades, not gradually, but suddenly. This is why experienced market participants do not relax during calm periods. They become more attentive. They watch margin rules. They monitor inventory classifications. They study delivery behavior instead of price movement. Because when stability breaks in silver, it does not break evenly. Some participants exit smoothly. Others are forced out. Some adjust positions early. Others discover too late that exits are crowded. The illusion of stability convinces people they have time. Markets often prove otherwise. Silver does not warn loudly. It signals quietly, then moves decisively. This is not a prediction. It is a structural observation. And for decision makers, entrepreneurs, and capital allocators, understanding the illusion of stability is not optional. It is the first layer of risk awareness. In most markets, short positions are viewed as opinions, a belief that price will fall, a calculated bet against optimism. In silver, short positions are something different. They are not merely directional trades. They are structural commitments. This distinction is critical. Many short participants in silver are not attempting to predict price. They are managing exposure, hedging production, balancing books, or supplying liquidity. Their objective is not to be right. It is to remain operational. That is why stress in silver rarely begins with panic. It begins with constraint. Short pressure does not require price to explode upward. It only requires conditions to tighten. The first tightening mechanism is leverage. Silver futures allow large exposure with relatively small capital. This leverage works quietly when volatility is low, but leverage does not disappear during calm periods. It compounds. As positions grow, margin requirements become more sensitive. A small move in price can produce a large change in required collateral, not because the trade is wrong, but because the system demands protection. This is where many observers misunderstand short squeezes. They imagine dramatic rallies forcing emotional capitulation. In reality, most short pressure begins before price becomes visible. Risk models adjust first, clearing firms respond next. Margin calls arrive quietly. The participant may still believe the trade is correct, but belief is no longer relevant. The system is now making decisions. Another overlooked factor is margin methodology. When margins shift from fixed levels to percentage-based calculations, risk becomes dynamic. As price rises, margin requirements rise automatically. This creates a feedback loop. The higher the price goes, the more capital is required to maintain the same position, even if the position is profitable. Even if the thesis remains valid, this is how short positions become trapped without drama. The participant is not losing on price. They are losing on liquidity. At this stage, exits are no longer chosen. They are scheduled. Forced reduction replaces strategic adjustment. Positions are trimmed not because risk is unacceptable, but because capital is insufficient. This is why short pressure often appears sudden from the outside. The decision was made earlier. The execution happens later. Silver intensifies this effect because of its narrow liquidity window. When multiple participants face similar constraints at the same time, exits cluster. Liquidity thins exactly when it is most needed. This is not crowd psychology. It is mechanical synchronization. Risk systems are built using similar assumptions. When conditions change, those systems respond together. What appears as coordinated behavior is often automated necessity. As pressure builds, optionality disappears. The short participant can no longer wait. They can no longer scale gradually. They must act within shrinking windows. This is where the concept of a squeeze becomes misunderstood. A squeeze is not always aggressive buying. Sometimes it is the inability to remain inactive. The participant does not want to buy. They are required to. And in silver, requirements escalate quickly. Unlike larger markets, silver cannot absorb forced flows easily. Its depth is limited. Its physical supply does not expand on demand. Its paper volume depends on confidence in settlement. When forced covering begins, it rarely announces itself. It shows up as unusual firmness, as bids that do not retreat, as dips that fail to extend. Observers mistake this for resilience. In reality, it is constraint. The market is no longer asking what participants want to do. It is asking what they are able to do. This shift matters deeply for business leaders and capital allocators because it signals a change in control. During normal conditions, participants manage risk. During constrained conditions, risk manages participants. Silver sits at this boundary more often than most assets, not because it is unstable, but because its structure leaves little room for error. Short positions thrive on flexibility. They fail when flexibility is removed. And removal rarely happens all at once. It happens through rules, margins, timing, and settlement mechanics. By the time price reflects this reality, decisions have already been forced. This is why experienced observers do not wait for confirmation in price. They watch the mechanics. Because in silver, once short pressure becomes visible, it is usually already advanced. And at that stage, outcomes are no longer symmetrical. Some participants adjust early, others adjust publicly. A few adjust too late. Markets remember these moments. Participants do as well. And silver quietly continues to teach the same lesson. Silver trades every day as if it is abundant. Yet it exists in the real world as a finite metal. This contradiction sits at the center of its instability. Most activity in silver does not involve metal at all. It involves promises. Futures contracts, options, swaps, and unallocated accounts represent claims, not bars. They are designed to transfer price risk efficiently. They are not designed to move trucks. This distinction is rarely important until it becomes unavoidable. Under normal conditions, the futures market functions as a circulation system. Contracts are opened, closed, rolled, and netted. Delivery is the exception, not the objective. This design creates efficiency. It also creates dependency. The system depends on the assumption that most participants will not ask for the metal. As long as this assumption holds, paper volume can expand far beyond physical supply. Silver allows this more than most commodities. Its industrial demand is steady. Its above-ground inventories are limited. And its futures market is disproportionately large relative to deliverable metal. This imbalance is manageable only when confidence remains intact. The moment confidence weakens, behavior changes. Participants begin asking different questions. Not what is the price, but what happens if I need delivery? This shift does not require fear. It requires timing. Calendar pressure transforms optional contracts into decisions. As settlement windows approach, theoretical exposure becomes practical obligation. At that point, paper promises must reconcile with physical reality. This is where silver becomes uncomfortable. Not all silver is equal in delivery terms. Inventory classifications matter. Eligible metal is not the same as available metal. Registered supply is not the same as accessible supply. These distinctions are technical. They are also decisive. A market can appear well supplied on paper while being tight in practice. This creates a false sense of security. When delivery interest rises, even slightly, these layers are tested. Metal must be located. Ownership must be transferred. Logistics must be arranged. These processes are slow compared to financial trading. If too many participants act at once, friction appears. The friction does not show up first in price. It shows up in behavior. Borrow rates rise, spreads widen, delivery premiums quietly increase. These signals are subtle. They are often ignored. Yet they indicate a system adjusting under strain. Silver's physical market is small relative to global financial flows. It does not need mass demand to become stressed. It only needs marginal change. A few large players deciding to hold metal rather than roll contracts can shift dynamics. A small reduction in available supply can have outsized effects. This is why paper markets remain stable. Until they do not, the reconciliation between claims and metal is never smooth. It is procedural, it is slow, and it exposes assumptions. When physical availability tightens, paper confidence compensates, temporarily. But confidence is not inventory. Eventually, timing forces resolution. At that moment, price becomes secondary. Process becomes primary. Who can source metal? Who can wait? Who must settle? These questions determine outcomes more than forecasts. For business leaders and entrepreneurs, this is not a trading lesson. It is a structural one. Systems built on assumptions work efficiently until assumptions are tested. When they are tested, resilience depends on preparation. Silver's structure makes such tests more frequent, not because it is fragile, but because it is honest. It reveals stress instead of hiding it. When paper promises collide with physical limits, markets do not collapse theatrically. They tighten quietly. Then they force adjustment. Those adjustments are rarely equal. Some participants adapt, others negotiate. A few discover constraints they did not plan for. By the time headlines react, processes are already in motion. And silver, once again, reminds participants that promises and metal are not the same thing. The difference only matters when time runs out. Markets spend most of their time offering choices. Participants can wait. They can adjust slowly. They can postpone decisions. But there are moments when markets stop offering flexibility. They demand resolution. Silver is approaching such a moment. This phase is not defined by headlines or forecasts. It is defined by time. As settlement deadlines approach, optional exposure becomes obligation. Contracts that were once theoretical must be addressed. Positions that were once flexible must be resolved. This is the decision window. During this period, participants are no longer debating direction. They are deciding execution. They must choose whether to roll positions forward, close them, or stand for delivery. Each option carries consequences. Each option requires liquidity, confidence, and access. The critical point is that not everyone can choose freely at the same time. Liquidity that appears abundant during calm periods becomes selective. Capital that felt sufficient begins to feel constrained. Confidence that was taken for granted becomes conditional. This is when stress concentrates. Markets do not break because everyone is wrong. They strain because too many participants are forced to act simultaneously. Silver amplifies this effect because of its structure. Its futures market is large relative to its deliverable supply. Its physical market is narrow compared to global financial demand. As the decision window closes in, these characteristics matter more. Those who planned early face options. Those who waited face requirements. Time removes neutrality. Participants who delay are no longer observers. They become actors by necessity. This is where market narratives fail. Public discussion often focuses on price targets and speculation, but during decision windows, price is a result, not a driver. What matters is process. Clearing requirements must be met. Collateral must be posted. Delivery terms must be honored. If any link tightens, pressure moves quickly through the system. This pressure does not spread evenly. It concentrates where flexibility is lowest. Short participants with high leverage feel it first. Then intermediaries managing settlement exposure. Then anyone relying on continuous liquidity. Silver's history shows that these transitions are rarely gradual. They appear quiet until suddenly they are not. One day, positions roll normally. The next, rolling becomes expensive. Soon after, rolling becomes unavailable. At that point, participants are no longer managing strategy. They are managing survival. This is why experienced observers treat time-based events seriously, not because they predict chaos, but because they remove choice. Markets are stable when participants can choose. They become unstable when participants must act. Silver does not need extreme demand to reach this state. It only needs coordination through constraint. When margins rise, delivery interest increases, and liquidity narrows together, pressure compounds. This convergence is rare, but when it happens, it matters. For business leaders and entrepreneurs, the lesson extends beyond silver. Decision windows exist in all systems. They expose dependencies. They reveal who planned for stress and who relied on continuity. In markets, continuity is assumed until it is tested. Silver is nearing a test. This does not guarantee a specific outcome. It guarantees a process. And processes, once initiated, are difficult to reverse. Participants who understand this do not panic. They prepare, They assess exposure early. They secure flexibility. They avoid dependence on last-minute liquidity. They recognize that the most dangerous moment is not the move itself, but the moment before choices disappear. Silver has reached that moment many times before. Each time it behaved consistently, not loudly, not emotionally, structurally. This is why calm periods near decision windows deserve attention, not comfort. They are not signs of safety, they are signs of compression. When the window closes, outcomes will follow, not because of opinion, but because of mechanics. And when mechanics take control, markets do not negotiate, they resolve.